Okay, so I got a story I want to tell you about this guy. And for the record, this guy is not me. I was not there. I heard about this. I did not do this. Again, I heard about what happened. And I'm going to leave it at that. Back in 2020, when there was a lockdown, everyone who believed in being out in the woods and in the swamps was out in the woods and in the swamps. Mainly because everywhere you went, there were people trying to tell you what to do. You couldn't go inside the store to pay for your gas without somebody telling you you needed a mask on. Nor could you go into the hospital. However, if you went out into the bayou and into the swamps, you were guaranteed that you were not going to run into anybody who behaved that way. Now, just a sidebar note, that never made any sense to me in the first damn place. And now, 2 years later, they're telling us that the masks never worked. They're even telling us that the vaccines don't work, and they're coming out with new vaccines. But that's neither here nor there. You decide what you want to do with your own body. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just trying to tell you about what I heard happen. Anyway, this guy is out on his airboat in the bayous north of Louisiana, the ones that cross into Arkansas. Just out enjoying himself, by himself. It's evening time, he's had a wonderful day, did some fishing, caught 2 turtles, and decided to pull over, stop, take a break, have a bite to eat, and just chill. Understand, the bayous are comfortable for him, like a second home. And just like everybody else out there in the bayous, you've had your fair share of strange and weird encounters, but there was no reason for you to be worried. Anyway, he's sitting there eating his food and decides he's going to take a little cat nap. Well, that cat nap turns into a long nap, and when I wake up, it's getting dark outside. The sun is going down, but it's not completely gone down. But understand, I know these bayous like the back of my hand. The problems all started when I went to turn the engine and it wasn't working. Now, if you know anything about airboats, they're notorious for 2 things. The fuel line getting clogged and the fuel filters getting clogged. So now I'm there messing with the fuel line, trying to see what's going on when I hear this howling way off in the distance. Now, everybody knows that if you are in the bayou and the sun is going down and you hear howling, what it is. It's a rougarou. But listen, it's way, way off in the distance, and I'm saying to myself, okay, it's going to get dark soon. There's a rougarou. It's a fuel line problem, but I'm going to fix it. No problem. So now I'm trying to start this engine again, and it still won't turn over. Imagine the scene. I'm squatted down, back in the boat, got the fuel filter in my hand, trying to make sure that it's not clogged. When I hear the howling again. This time, it's closer. And I'm talking about way, way closer. But now I'm saying to myself, no, sir, not playing around like this. I gots to go. Now, just to be safe, I have the fuel filter out. I take the water separator out. I'm doing a full system check on this bad boy, trying to get it running. About 5 minutes pass, and then I hear this thing howling again. And it's like hundreds of yards away. And this panic starts to set in. Understand, there's been many people go missing in these bayous over the years. And I'd be damned if I was going to be one of those people that ended up missing. So my mind starts racing. I'm saying to myself, screw this engine. Where's my flashlight? Where's my rifle? I need to have them close to me. Imagine the scene. The water separator is now reconnected. The fuel filter, for a fact, I know it's clean, but I want to flush it with additional fuel before I put it back on. So now I'm headed over, getting my reserve gas tank, and now I'm standing there forcing fuel into my fuel filter. Gas is spilling all over the place. I know there's going to be some boat enthusiasts out there who's going to say, that's not how the system works. I've been on an airboat. That's not how they work. Listen to me. I built my engine myself. I'm not one of those rich folk that have money to go into the store to buy anything. This boat is my baby. I know exactly how this boat works. And right there at that moment in time, there was no justifiable reason why this engine would not be turning over. Now every piece is put back in place. I go to turn the engine over and it won't start. Now I don't know about you, how your brain functions, how your body functions, but when I'm in an extremely stressful situation, the only thing that allows me to calm down and think clearly is smoking a cigarette. And yes, I understand, I shouldn't have been lighting a cigarette after I had just finished messing around with the gasoline, but let me tell you something. Had I not lit that cigarette, I probably wouldn't be here to this day to tell you this story. Because I light my cigarette, take a drag, and now I'm just looking at the engine trying to figure out what the hell is wrong. And that's when it all dawns on me. The last time I brought my boat out, the fuel gauge was broken. And I was supposed to replace that fuel gauge 2 weeks ago. This son of a is out of gas. So now I'm scrambling over to my reserve fuel tanks to pour gasoline into the engine. And understand I have two 10-gallon reserve gasoline tanks that are on my boat at all points in time. I'm standing there pouring the gas into the engine when I start to hear twigs and leaves snapping on this little bitty island of land. Shining my light in that direction, you can see something moving over there in the distance. Now, if you've never been into the swamps or the bayous, you may not be familiar with how the land masses work. You could be walking on dry land for a moment, take a step, and boosh, you're off into the water. Move 10 feet forward, then you're back on dry land. It is a treacherous landscape to transverse. And there is something transversing this treacherous landscape coming directly for me. The problem I was having was as I was trying to keep my eyes on it and pour the gas was starting to spill everywhere. So now I turn my attention from that thing to putting the gas back into the tank, and I hear what sounds like something landing in the tree. And I can't tell you if it was more than one, I can't tell you if it was one, or if that one way back there decided it was going to jump. But all I know is something came down crashing through the trees, and this was very, very close to me at this point in time, no more than 30 yards away. So now I'm shining the light in that direction, and sure enough, I get this gigantic eye shine that is 8 to 9 feet tall, and I'm saying to myself, no sir, no way, this is not about to happen to me. I'm not dying out here in these swamps. So I take the rest of my gasoline and I start dousing it into the water, dousing it on the trees right there where I am, and grab my oar and start to push myself away from the bank. As I'm pushing myself away, I grab my other 10-gallon gas tank and dump the entire thing into the freaking water. As I'm doing that, I'm looking up, and now I can see this gigantic black mass almost right there to the edge of the bank. And I'm saying to myself, no, hell no, you are not about to kill me. That's when I throw that cigarette as hard as I can. It hits the base of that tree, and oh Lord, it's a fire. Everything goes up into flames. That trail of fire starts to come in a direction where gas had been on the edge of the side of the boat. Now I'm there taking my shirt off, beating those flames out. That thing is there, and now it is illuminated by the lights of the fire. And boy, when I tell you, it was the most horrific sight I've ever seen. I've listened to people describe the Dogman or rougarou as being this big muscular monster. No sir. This thing was skinny with lean muscle and this gigantic freaking dog head. Listen to me, talk about being afraid. It's pacing back and forth, left and right, trying to get around the flames of that fire. I'm there frantically rowing my boat, trying to get it away from the land. Now I'm about 50 yards away from where I was, and the bayou is now catching fire. I'm not talking about a little bit of fire. I'm talking about a whole lot of flames are going everywhere. And I'm standing there saying to myself, how in the hell do you find yourself in a situation like this? So now I'm hitting the ignition, trying to get the boat to turn over, saying to myself, baby, if you don't turn over, either we gonna burn to death or this thing is gonna eat us. But I need you to turn over, baby. I need you to turn over. I'm talking to her, baby, please, baby, please turn over. And on the 5th try, that engine turns over. And man, when I tell you I shot up out of there like a bat out of hell, I shot up out of there like a bat out of hell. Get this, about a solid week passes, and I'm at home watching the news, and they start talking about this fire in the bayou. Now on the news, they're saying that the fire was started by a lightning strike. They show the location, and I ain't gonna lie, that was the exact same location where I was. I figured to myself, if y'all say it was lightning, then it was lightning.